The Weekly Warp Pipe.
What's up, guys? RussLyman here, and welcome to the Weekly Warp Pipe, a podcast dedicated to retro video games, 80s and 90s toys, and all things nostalgia. Alright, guys, this week we're jumping into the Warp Pipe, and we're going to be taking a look at the top 10 hardest NES games. These are games that are going to want to make you scream. It's going to be a fun episode, guys. Let's get into it. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Weekly Warp Pipe. I'm RussLyman.
What's up, guys? I'm Jay, NES Addict.
Excellent. It's great to be back at another episode. We're cranking these out weekly, so if you missed any, feel free to go back and check out older episodes. This week, we're diving into hard NES games.
NES hard, one might say.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot of games back in my childhood that I couldn't beat. So we compiled a list together. But before we get into that, we'll see what's new with Jay. What have you been up to this week?
This week I have been fighting the never-ending fight of trying to get my kids back on a school schedule because school's starting in 2 weeks.
Oh man,
and, it's been a free-for-all. So they just go to bed whenever the heck they want, and they wake up whenever the heck they want, and apparently so do I. So yeah.
So you gotta restore some order in the house.
That's right.
Jeez.
How about yourself?
Pretty good. I went to two conventions this past weekend. I went to Terrificon, which is at Mohegan Sun Casino in Connecticut. That was a 3-day event, but I only attended Friday. Met my buddy David Apuzzo there, and I'll have a video in the coming weeks for that. I filmed, picked up some awesome stuff for sure. And then there was a smaller swap meet event my friend Aldo put on called Al Go 2.
I like it.
He had the first one in 2020 in February, was ready to do the second one, and then obviously everything happened. So this is the final chance he was able to have everyone come out. It's hosted at the Norwalk Public Library, and it was a free event and free to have vendors there. So I did a video on that as well. So I got to edit that. Going to be doing a lot of editing today and tomorrow.
There you go.
But yeah, I picked up some cool stuff there. And I also got a weekly Warp Pipe coffee mug here.
Dude, I need to get on that. Like, I need to order one of those like today. I always forget. If it's not like on the forefront of my mind, just it's gone.
I will say, I think I should have ordered maybe there's two sizes. So I think I got the smaller one kind of compared to my actual Warp Pipe one. So maybe I'll end up getting another one that's a little bit bigger. But yeah, they're on the Etsy page. I'll have a link in the description in case you guys want to support the podcast that way.
I freaking love the design, Russ. You killed it.
Yeah, I'll have to do some T-shirts too on there, Put
yeah,
that
I would totally
right
rock.
there.
I would totally rock that. Absolutely.
Sweet. All right, let's get into this top 10 list we got here. No particular order. I just kind of listed 10 games, and we'll kind of go through them.
Yeah, I'm down. Let's go.
So number 1, we got Ninja Gaiden 3 Ancient Ship of Doom.
Yeah, what makes this game incredibly difficult is the fact that unlike the first two games, your continues are limited.
Right.
To 3.
I don't know why they chose to take out infinite continues, but that definitely makes it harder.
Yeah, and the last level, maybe even the last 2 levels, it's been a while since I beat it, but they really amp up the difficulty on, like, you basically have to memorize everything you're going to do next.
Right. And of course, it's a Ninja Gaiden game, so you have that knockback when you hit an opponent or anything, and you can fall into a pit, and it can certainly get frustrating.
That's right. I will say that if I remember correctly, the end bosses weren't quite as challenging to me as the second form of Jacquio on the original, though. So once you kind of make it to the end, it's a little bit more doable.
Gotcha. Yeah. You were saying, I know we had this discussion in the past, but you think as for difficulty, number 2 is the easiest, then number 1, and then number 3.
Yeah. And that's by a slim margin between 1 and 3.
Yeah. I think in the second one, they added some mechanics to it that made it a little bit easier with like wall climbing. You could go up and down and stuff like that.
Right.
But I mean, Ninja Gaiden, you say that to anyone, and most people probably would, think Ninja Gaiden 1 It's definitely doable to beat that one with enough practice. I've beaten all three, but only with the help of save states.
You gotta do what you gotta do, Russ.
Yeah, I mean, they're certainly fun, and it's a classic platformer, and certainly coins the term NES hard.
Yeah, I have beaten all three Ninja Gaidens legitly, luckily.
There you go.
But the third one took a lot of practice.
Oh, I imagine. Yeah, definitely buckling down. Like you said, memorizing certain parts of the level and knowing those boss patterns will help out. Surely.
For sure. Yep.
All right.
Number two, we got Silver Surfer. This is a game that I have never beat. And as a matter of fact, I made a TikTok for this probably 2-3 weeks ago, and I was getting killed in like the first 5 seconds, and I was like, I would do like retake. I was like, surely I can get further than this. Surely I can get further than this. Dude, that game is balls hard. It is so crazy hard.
Yeah, for those who don't know, it's basically a shooter style game. You're the Silver Surfer on his surfboard, going through the level, vertical left to right, and shooting enemies as they come on screen. But I think the reaction time you need to play the game is pretty up there.
It's got to be Megadan 29 reaction time, or it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I haven't put too much time into it only because of the harsh difficulty. I would probably need some type of game genie to maybe have invincible health. It's one hit kills, right?
Yeah, it's like one and you're done, dude. I know Bootsy from Cinemassacre back in the day did a kind of a walkthrough on how to do it because he's really good at really challenging games.
Yeah.
But man, dude, it is really hard. I know Megadan 29's beat it, and I'm pretty sure, I don't know if you know Solid Nate, he's beaten it. But man, I'm terrible at shooters, so I don't even know if I'll ever try.
Right. As per last episode, we had a few shooters on there, and I had ranked them a little bit lower just because I myself am not great at them. They're fun for maybe, a few minutes, but losing power-ups in those really ranks up the difficulty when you're in later stages. I'm not sure if there's power-ups or not in Silver Surfer if you just get one weapon.
I don't know. I've never made it too far to find out.
So very true. Yeah, I wonder if people, kind of want to check this game out since of all the hype around Marvel movies and talks of a new Fantastic Four coming out. Maybe people are like, oh, what? There was a Silver Surfer game on NES, and then they put it in. They're going to be disappointed that it's so difficult.
Severely disappointed.
Blast.
Speaking of Blast.
Good segue. Number 3, Blaster Master.
Yeah. What do you know about Blaster Master, Russ?
I know the music is fantastic. It certainly has fun gameplay. The difficulty lies is you need to beat that game in one sitting.
Yeah. And isn't it like ridiculously long?
It's pretty long. Like I looked up, long plays of it or walkthroughs or whatever, and it's certainly a few hours. And there are so many different sections in the game because it's not one where it's, you just go left to right, beat the stage and move on. You're basically in this giant alien open world place, and they all have different places you need to go, certain things to unlock to get to another section, and to memorize all that is definitely difficulty is right there. Yeah.
So when you say hours, you talking like 2 hours or like 3 to 4 hours?
Yeah, I think it's like 3 to 4. I mean, like a skilled player, like if we were probably to do it with the walkthrough, it'd probably take me like 6 to 10 hours easily.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like 7 hours for me to complete this. Like I don't have time to sit down and do that without a password save,
Right. And the only other option would be to leave your NES on, and maybe you had to head to school or something like that, and then come back and pick up where you left off
and risk burning down your house
with that power supply.
That's right.
Let's see. I'm looking up some quick walkthroughs. So it looks like on NES log play they can do it in an hour 28 minutes, and
that's somebody that's probably played it 1,000 times and knows exactly what to do.
That's like super efficient. Let's get it done. Someone else uploaded one was 2 hours and one was 4 hours as well. So I don't know how many deaths that include and getting lost. I mean, certainly it's a fun game to play. I enjoyed the remake. on the Switch so much, Blaster Master Zero, because they implemented checkpoints, saves,
Nice.
map system, so much more that they couldn't do on the NES. Like, it was hard to do a map system on there.
Right. Yeah, I want to comment on just two things real quick. The music is so good because Sunsoft made this game.
Right.
And they have like a history of like just killing it with the music.
Yeah.
And two,
absolutely.
There is a cheat for this game. When you shoot a boss, if you pause it, the boss will continue to die. So that's one thing that might make it a little bit easier for some of you out there who don't mind, taking a roundabout way to beating it. But still, to me, the part that's probably the most confusing is just knowing where to go.
Right. Like, I can easily get past a couple screens and then make my way to a boss. But then after that, I'm like, well, which section do I go to now? I don't know where.
Exactly.
Moving on. Next one we got on the list is Ghosts and Goblins.
Ghosts and Goblins, the game that you love to play so much that you're forced to play it twice just to get the real ending.
Yeah, they torture you. I guess instead of making a longer game, they're like, we'll just do a loop. They got to do a loop, so it's double the time.
I got pretty fortunate. Several years ago, I played this on a live stream because I was dying to get it off my belt of games I wanted to beat. And I beat it live on a live stream. It's still there on YouTube for everyone to see. And the odd thing about it was that night, Captain Retro was coming through Greenville from somewhere.
Okay.
And he like texted me. He's like, "Hey man, I need like a place to chill for like just an hour, just to give me a break off the road." And I was like, "Dude, come to my house." And he stopped in, and like 5 minutes after he got there, I beat the game. I was like, "Dude, you're like my good luck charm."
Nice, great story.
Yeah,
I played this a bunch. Remember renting it back in the day. Love the atmosphere of it, the story. And it's tough because, again, it's not necessarily one hit deaths. You get hit and you lose your armor, and then your next hit is death. So you don't have like a life bar. So you have to really plan your attacks and your jumps, because enemies constantly spawn from the ground, and you want to jump around because then you'll unearth the chest and be able to get, a power-up weapon or perhaps recover your armor. But then jumping around, you could accidentally jump into an enemy and cause yourself to get killed that way.
Yeah, and AVGN's right. The knife is the crucial weapon because you can throw it the fastest.
Right.
And the other thing I will say about this game is that my ADD is severe, and I just forgot. So I'll tell you in a second.
Yeah, I mean, we'll say one good thing is once you get the weapon that you desire, say the knife, when you die and continue, you still hold on to that weapon. So you just have to be cautious not to pick up like the flame or some sucky weapon like that.
Yeah, you don't want the torch. And that is the one thing I was going to say was the very considerate thing that the people that program this game, they give you unlimited continues. So the game only really ends when you're just sick of playing it, which can happen pretty quickly. The other thing is you have to be very careful when it goes back to the continue screen that you do click on continue, because I have made it really far in this game and then like started it over accidentally.
Oh, that's got to be terrible.
Oh yeah, I was like, oh my God, did I really just do that?
That's when you put down the controller and you come back another day.
That's exactly right.
And I also find it funny, when you beat the level or die, it shows you your progression. Like, this is where you are in the world map, and this is where you got to be going. And you're like, there's so much further I need to go.
Yeah,
and I keep dying.
And that's actually pretty grating as well on your nerves. Having to hear that dun 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 dun, with the little map or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Every time you die, you have to hear that. Like, I don't want to hear that 1,000 times a game.
Right. NES hard for sure.
Exactly.
What we got next on the list?
We got Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link, and I think this game gets a little bit of a bad rap. Because there's a lot of grinding you have to do. It definitely has that RPG element where you have to grind to power up. But once you get powered up, other than just like knowing the puzzle solving of the game and some of the castles or dungeons, for lack of a better term, some of them are really hard to figure out where to go, especially in the later ones.
Right, absolutely. And some of the tricks and stuff like magic things that you acquire, where to use it can be cryptic. Like where's that one part? I know you have to cast some spell and you turn into like a fairy or fall through the ground or like
Yeah.
it's like what? How would I know this? It's definitely a Nintendo Power needed on this.
Yeah, I know. And there's like one where there's like a dissolving floor, and you have to fall perfectly in between this little section to get to the next part of the dungeon that you need to get to.
Gotcha.
How would you know that unless you accidentally did it?
Right. Like you said, a lot of people give this game flack. And saying we're not saying it's a bad game. It's just hard, and it was different from the first Zelda where everyone was used to that. And then after that, Link to the Past came out, and they went back to the same top-down format for the Zelda series there. But it's certainly fun. I beat it only by using a full walkthrough, so I knew where to go, what potion to get, how to grind. Just so I can be like, okay, I beat it. I did cheese out on the final boss, the shadow boss, where you stay in the corner and you just keep stabbing, and he gets hit and doesn't hit you. So I'm like, I tried it a few times. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to beat it. Let me just cheese him out.
Yeah, I think I tried for a while to play it without a walkthrough, and then about halfway through, I was like, screw it, I need a walkthrough, and then I did the same at the end.
Right. Just so I can be like, okay, I beat it. Like, I experienced the game. Let's move on.
Exactly.
Moving on to another great franchise, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the first game on NES.
Yeah, this game was so hard for me as a kid. My sister got it for me Christmas of '91.
Yep.
I played it for about 2 days, knowing the whole time that I hated it. And finally, I go to my sister because I didn't want to hurt her feelings, and I said, "Robin, can we return this game? It's too hard. I couldn't get past the damn level, the damn level, and
the damn level.
Yeah, the water level. So I took it back and got rollerblades.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know why I didn't get like Contra or Punch Out or something like that.
Right? Some other like adventure style game, or like
just like a better NES game. But
you're like, you know what? Rollerblades. Be safe with that.
Those purple and green rollerblades were just screaming my name. I was like, this looks so sick.
Nice. Oh, you mean you got actual rollerblades? I'm thinking rollerblades NES game or something.
Oh no, yeah, like legitimate rollerblades that I could go skate on outside.
Well, there you go. Rollerblades are awesome.
But as an adult, when I got back into NES, the first game I wanted to beat was Batman, and the second game I wanted to beat was TMNT, and I did, and I have beat it multiple times. It is beatable.
Okay,
just take some practice.
You'll have to show me.
I will absolutely. The only part that really is pretty cheap is the final hallway leading up to Shredder.
Okay,
that final hallway, you have to have all 4 turtles. You have to be completely powered up. If you have scrolls, which you can find in the final level, that's very helpful.
Yeah.
If you can't find scrolls, the next best thing is to have boomerangs and to throw them, pause the game, switch turtles, and then let the other turtle get a few. And you can because you get like 20 boomerangs, and you can spread like 4 to 5 between each turtle, and you can kind of throw those continuously because they'll come back to you.
Oh, okay. So you won't lose your inventory, so to say.
That's right. Yep. That's it. And once you get to
more
Shredder,
in-game cheats with NES Attic.
That's right. I think it's an underrated game because of the difficulty that I perceived when I was a kid. It's not as bad as I thought when I was like 10.
Right. I mean, I certainly enjoyed the game growing up and playing it. It was Ninja Turtles. That was the big hype, being a kid in the 80s and 90s. You're like, oh my God, Ninja Turtles on the NES is the best thing ever. And we got what we got. It probably would have been better if we got something similar to Ninja Turtles 2, like the beat 'em up style game, but they kind of gave us this adventure game. And I've gotten past the water level. The furthest I got, I think, is looking for the Technodrome. It was kind of like in like an outdoor area, and you're going into certain buildings or something like that.
Yeah, you're pretty close to the end. There's only one more level after that one.
Okay.
So you are right there.
So that'll be have to one I'll stream and beat it, and definitely be using some save states. Because if you got to have all 4 turtles, there's certainly a challenge.
The hard part about that level you're talking about now is the Technodrome spawns in different sections. So you have to, it's never the same.
Gotcha. So it's a guessing game.
Yep.
And then you're losing health going into the wrong building, and then you're like, great, now I found it, and I have one turtle left.
Yeah, there's like 3 holes in the ground, and you never know which one it's going to be.
Gotcha. All right, what's next on our list?
A game that I streamed last night on TikTok, Castlevania 3 Draculas Curse, which I definitely think is the hardest of the 3.
Yeah, and we brought this up in last week's episode of ranking all the Konami games.
Yeah, it's a great game. It is very difficult. Like any game, as you get closer to the end, it gets much harder.
Right, and because it's a Castlevania game, you got that notorious knockback at getting hit by Medusa heads or what do they have? I think flying bats in that one. I know they have other wave pattern enemies.
Yeah, lots of different stuff. There's one level where like the ground or like the bottom of the screen keeps coming up.
Yes.
So you have to like get to the top. I actually went through that last night. And then there's another one where it seems like it takes forever, but bricks keep falling from the sky and you have to slowly make your way up.
Oh my God, yes.
That part is crazy hard.
I'm like, how long is this supposed to go? Like I was playing it. I played it on a handheld that I have that it's like an emulator, and I was using save stage just so to keep my sanity because I died so much. And at that part, I'm like, how long does this actually take? And it takes probably 5 to 7 minutes for all the bricks to fill up to where you can get to the top.
Yeah, it takes way longer than you would expect.
Right. I'm like, can't I just use Alucard and turn into a bat and fly up there?
Yep. So I got to level 4 last night. So I'm probably going to stream it again tonight or tomorrow on TikTok because my plan is to beat it on TikTok eventually because it has the password system. Thank goodness.
Right. So that's your saving grace where you can come back to it and keep going.
Yeah, absolutely.
Certainly tough. I mean, it's a great game, good music, and different paths you can take. So depending on which path you take, if one's harder, maybe try the other path.
Exactly.
What else we got here?
We got the infamous Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
That's for sure. I personally never beat this game.
A couple of years back, I feel like you have this gamer card, right? And you want to put some notches in it. And for me, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out was one I was like, I got to beat it. So I finally got good enough, and I beat it one night. And I actually recorded that one, but it was a decision. I won by decision.
Oh,
and I was like, man, I want to like knock his butt out. Yeah. So I played it the next night, went 14-0, knocked him out, but I didn't record that one. I was like, dang it, recorded the wrong one.
Yeah, I would say the main difficulty is not till the later half of the game. Of course, everyone's fighting Don Flamingo and Glass Joe, and they have an easy time with that because you fight them so much leading up to Mike Tyson or perhaps Mr. Dream, depending on which version I guess you're playing.
Sandman, it didn't take me long to figure him out. What's the guy between Sandman and Tyson? Is it Macho Man? Is it
Soda Pop Pinks?
No, it's not. It's not Soda Pop Pinsky. It's whoever's. I think it might be Macho Man. It's whoever's between Sandman and Tyson. But man, he has this one shot, like one hit, and I just could not get that timing down. It took me forever. It was harder for me to beat him than it was Tyson.
No kidding. Yeah, definitely a challenge. I will say what's great. If you guys don't know Mega Dan, he certainly could beat that game. He reached out to me to do a custom Mike Tyson controller for him, and I made it look like a boxing glove. It was pretty wide, and he used that controller and streamed it and beat Mike Tyson's Punch-Out with the controller. So I thought that was dope.
Yeah, Mega Dan could beat that game in his sleep. He's got cat-like reflexes. He's not human, I'm pretty sure.
Fair enough. Speaking of not human, the next game on our list is Mega Man.
That's right. What are your thoughts on Mega Man?
Mega Man 1, I feel, is more difficult than the others because you don't have any of the extra stuff that they added. There's no slide. You don't get a charge shot on it. And you also don't get any continues.
Yeah.
I thought there was a password system in it, but no.
Yeah, that's weird, right? I've beaten Mega Man 1. I had to do the cheat for the yellow one-eyed, whatever he's called. Yeah.
Yellow Devil.
But I've seen somebody beat that legit. My friend Johnny did. And I think I just need to get more patient with it. But yeah, Mega Man can be.
I would say it does have less bosses than the traditional other games after that. So you fight less bosses and then go to Wily.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. It's I've beaten it in 2. I've never beat 3.
Right. Most of the games I could beat the robot bosses, and then when it gets to Wily's castle, I'm kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm wiped out from doing all that.
Yeah, it needs a save. It needs a save feature like Mega Man 2 and 3, and I'm assuming the rest of them.
Right. But yeah, it's a classic platformer game, so you got to get down all your jumps and everything, and there's a lot of like instant death with the spikes or like falling off a cliff. So there's lots of ways you can perish, and then you got to start all over.
Yeah, notorious for its terrible box art.
Yes. What else we got? It's got to be on the list. Yeah.
It's Battletoads.
Got to have Battletoads on the list if we're talking NES hard.
Yeah. Battletoads was another game that like I just felt like I had to have on my gamer card. Russ, when I tell you it took me 5.5 months of playing this game every single day, sometimes twice a day, that's how long it took me to beat this.
Wow, that's some commitment for sure.
I was dedicated to the cause. I did a series on my YouTube channel many years ago, and it was called Battletoads Updates. And once a month, I would show you my progress.
Wow.
And it was like incremental.
I'll have to do a deep dive and check that out.
there's a lot of swearing in those videos.
Before it was the wholesome NES addict gamer show.
Yeah, Battletoads ruined me.
Yeah, I mean it's certainly challenging with what's the stage? Wave race stage?
Turbo Tunnel.
Turbo Tunnel. There it is. Yep. Just because of how fast it picks up. You got to, which way am I going? To the top of the screen to dodge what's coming at the bottom of the screen. And yeah, it's certainly hard up to that. But that's basically that game. That level is similar to like in Turtles, you got your water level with all the bombs and you got a time limit. So you get like this anxiety of like, oh no, we're at this level. If I could pass here.
Yeah. The Turbo Tunnel, I will say, is challenging at first, but once you get through it, you can always get through it. There are definitely much harder levels at the end. There's one, I think, called Dante's Inferno. I think that's what it's called. You're on an airplane.
Okay.
It's just like Turbo Tunnel, except you're on an airplane. And at the end, there's these little lasers you have to get through. And for whatever reason, the timing on the very last laser is slightly different than the rest of them. And like I would always, once you get past that last laser, it's game over. It's like on to the next level. And I would always hit that wall. I was like, oh, so close.
Because they trick you. You get a good timing of like up, down, and then it's like middle or whatever, or like however you're dodging it because you're used to the pattern. Yeah. You're like, shoot.
That level was really hard. And then the level that I almost gave up on was the one you're like riding this big unicycle thing hanging on by handlebars.
Oh, okay.
You have to make precision turns because when you make the turn, it's got to be so precision that's what keeps you in front of the guy chasing you.
Gotcha.
So every time you don't make it, you slow down a little bit more and slow down a little bit more.
Right. And then he's going to catch up.
Yeah. I thought that's the one where I was like, I don't know if I can beat this.
But you kept at it for 5 months.
But I did. And I beat it with no continues and no warps.
There you go. And the achievement unlocked.
That's right.
Sweet. Yeah, that was our top 10. We got a couple honorable mentions we can bang through here. I put on Friday the 13th.
You ever beat that, Russ?
Yeah, yes. Again, save states are my friend.
Right.
You got to beat Jason 3 times, and he gets more difficult after each night. So I certainly would love to sit down and beat it straight up. I got a book on how to beat Jason the easy way, and it gives you tips on getting the best weapon in the game, getting the sweater, which lets you deal less damage, so it ups the chance of you beating Jason. And you definitely want to fight him on the road rather than being in the house, so that all helps.
You got to stream that and I'll watch because I've never beat it, so that way you can teach me how.
There we go. Yeah, I think I streamed it on one of the Friday the 13th, dressed in my NES Jason cosplay. But again, I was using save states. Like I saved on night 3 and I was like, all right, now we just got to find Jason and beat him. But I've seen speed runs of it. You could beat it in like, 10, 15 minutes.
Did you wear the mask?
Yes, which was funny because I still needed to wear my glasses so I could see the screen. So it's like educational Jason.
That's hilarious.
So it almost made me think like when I make another cosplay Jason mask, I should take some of my old lenses and put them in so I can see.
There you go. That's an LJN game, correct?
Yes, LJN. Then we added Fester's Quest on there.
Yeah, I rented that game as a kid one time, and I remember I hated it. I was like, what the heck? This game's so dang hard.
Yeah, and it has some similarities to Blaster Master because when you fight the bosses in that game, it's exactly the same laid out, where you got the big boss at the top of the screen and you're down below shooting up at him.
The little guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Sunsoft made it, so that makes sense, and the music's decent. But yeah, Fester Quest is hard. I've never beat that one either. That's another one I'd like to get through at some point.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's a fun one. Again, I got another book. This company pumps out these books here that are easy way to beat games, and they give you all the tips and stuff, and they did one on Fester's Quest as well.
Let's see if you got it.
Let's see. I should have it handy.
There's a YouTube channel it's like you can beat this game or games you can beat or something like that, or you can beat Nintendo games. He kind of does walkthroughs.
Yeah,
too.
I watched a few of his there.
Oh, the easy way. That's cool. The
easy way. Yeah, so that's Fester's Quest right there. And if you happen to pick up the Friday the 13th one, I'm actually inside. Me and Tyler from Generation Gap Gaming are in this because we backed it on Kickstarter.
And guess what? I am indirectly in it because Tyler has on my t-shirt.
That's right. Let me see if I can find the page real quick.
I think the shirt that I'm wearing now, actually.
Yeah, the NES Addict shirt, which I have one of those as well.
I was like, this is so sick. I made it into a book. My shirt's in a book.
Where the heck is it? I know it's in here.
Not as cool as actually being in the book like Russ and Tyler are, but
yeah, we got like a big page in there. Here, I'll search through that. What else is on our list for honorable mentions?
We got The Simpsons Bart versus the Space Mutants. That is another game I've never beat. That's the game where you have to collect all the items that are the same color.
Yeah, or you have to spray paint them.
Yeah, I don't exactly get the premise of all of it, but I remember as a kid thinking the commercial made it look super sick.
Yeah, I think the big thing was I didn't know what to do in the game. Maybe I didn't read the manual or whatever. I didn't realize I had to change the color of items in the game.
They could have made it so much better than they did.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's like the same reason why you bought Turtles. It's like Simpsons made a game. Like I love watching The Simpsons, and it's on Nintendo. That's the biggest thing ever. Let's pick it up and enjoy it. And I played it, had fun with it. Didn't get very far.
Right. Yeah, I think that's the same for all of us. There's Russ, there's Tyler, and there's my shirt. Look at that. That's so awesome.
Pretty awesome. So yeah, the guy that does this 8-Bit Steve, if you want to check out any of the books, the easy way, you could just kind of Google search that. Hagen's Alley puts it out. Hagen's Alley. How would you say? I guess Hagen.
I'm going to have to buy that just because.
What else we got on the list? The last one.
Go ahead, Russ. Let us know what it is.
Batman on NES.
So as a Batman connoisseur, I would say, at least for the NES game, because that's the game that made me want to get back into NES, because I realized one day I never beat it as a kid, and I was like, I bet I could beat that now. Batman is honestly not that hard of a game. There are a couple tricks that you can learn, like for certain bosses that will help. The game does, as I've said for other games, it ramps up the difficulty in the last level. If you can make it up that clock tower and get through Firebug, and you have unlimited continues, so that helps.
Right,
the Joker is really the toughest part of that game, and but you like I said, the game isn't over until you make it over, so you can beat it. I use boomerangs. Some people can punch the Joker.
Okay,
I find the boomerangs are way easier, but
because it's a fast item, you could just like rapid fire.
Yeah, you just kind of have to like place yourself where you're not getting shot by his gun and you're not getting hit by the lightning. I think that's the hardest thing is his gun takes off so much energy.
Right, getting hit with that bullet, well, because it's so big, such a big gun.
Yeah, it's the one he pulls out of his pants when he's shooting the Batwing.
Right. But yeah, I beat this on live stream, but again, using save states, it got to the clock tower, you climb it, and then it's just ongoing, learning the patterns, playing that there. I usually get stuck on the sewer stage once you get down there and you have the enemies that bounce around that are, I don't know what they're called, but
Jaders.
They constantly bounce and have unpredictable patterns and you could just get hung up and all your health is depleted. And I'm like, Christ.
All right, Russ, here's the secret for the Jaders. You kill them when you can see them on screen, but before you trigger their actions.
Gotcha. Yeah. So if you just see their arm, then you just start shooting some stuff at them.
Yeah, you can see I think you can see most of them, but if you get close enough, you will trigger them. Now there's one or two that are kind of unavoidable in that sense, but
right.
For most of them, you can get through them that way.
Okay. Kind of creep along and then you'll be able to beat it.
That's it.
Nice. Well, if we missed any of that you think should be on the list, you can certainly let us know and see if you agree or disagree. Maybe you're like, Batman's an easy game. Why would that make? I mean, it's an honorable mention. Didn't make the exact top 10, but
exactly. Go easy on us.
That's it. And yeah, if you guys want to hear more of us ranking games, we did last week's episode ranking all the Konami games. Maybe we can do Sunsoft games, Capcom games. Let us know if you like to hear that.
Yeah, I'd like to do that actually.
Sweet. Well, where can we find you, Jay, if they want to check out some of your stuff?
So YouTube, NES Addict, TikTok, which I will be streaming Castlevania 3 this week at some point at night. If you're on late, check me out. And the old Instagram.
The old Instagram. Yeah. And you can find me at RussLyman. That's on TikTok, Instagram, and my YouTube channel. And then my second YouTube channel, obviously, is Bit by Bit, which is the podcast is on. But maybe you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and that's awesome too.
That's right.
Sweet. Well, I'll wrap it up for us. As always, guys, I'm RussLyman, and keep your world fun bit by bit.
Have a wonderful weekend, guys.